Good afternoon. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time here, just want to let you know that my channel is a faith-based channel. I like to share things of scripture, but from time to time I'll go off script and I'll do a video on other topics or other things. Some of you who've been following me know that that I've been retired for a year. I lost my job last April and I've been retired for a year. And the topic that I'm going to talk about, I'm going to make it two videos. I'm going to make this video and then the next video. So subscribe to my channel if you haven't, so like that, you can be made aware of when I put out the next video, hopefully tomorrow. The topic that I wanted to talk about is something that I've been thinking about doing for a while, but I haven't for whatever reason. But something just happened in my family a week ago that relates to this topic, and I wanted to share it with you guys. I'm not going to go into full detail as to what happened, but I'm going to address what I wanted to talk about here, which is the topic is retirement and depression. All right, and there's a lot of YouTube channels out there of retired people like myself who keep their time busy, keep themselves busy by doing videos, posting videos and things like that. They take it to a higher level, they make it more fancy, they do a lot of editing. Not me, I'm just straightforward. I haven't gotten to that point yet, and I don't know if I ever will. So I just use my phone and do whatever I can with my phone, and however it comes. I know sometimes I mess up in my videos, especially towards the end of the video, and I can't edit it out, and I'm like, whatever, so I just post it. Anyway, so retirement and depression, and so many of us, so many people, a lot of people, always looking forward to retirement. Okay, and the problem is this: there's some things that come with retirement. I'm gonna have to talk a little louder. Somebody just started a lawnmower here in the park. There's some things that come with retirement that people are not aware of. Okay, and depression is one of them. I'm not saying that everybody who retires gets depressed. I'm not saying that. But I want to touch on a couple of things that leads to that depression. And the first thing is that the loss of structure, all right, or routine. If you're working, you have a routine. You get up in the morning, you prepare whatever you need to prepare, you shower, you go out, and you know what it's like if you're working. That's your routine for the majority of the day, probably from anywhere from 8 to 10, even 12 hours a day for most people. So that structure and that routine is not disrupted, it's completely taken away. So that's one thing that, that's one of the things that leads to depression. The other thing is social interaction and social connections. In work, a lot of people, we have a lot of quote unquote work friends. My wife has always said to me, you don't have friends in work. And as the years went by, I saw that what she kept saying was true, because, I worked in some jobs and I became really, really friendly with a lot of people, and I'm a friendly person. So as time went on, or as I left that job, or left that job, because most of my jobs I left, I saw that there was the disconnect that, all right, I no longer work there, and the people who I thought were my friends, when I reach out to them, they don't reach back. It's like, that's it. That chapter of your life is done. So your work friends, you might have one or two that are true friends, but the majority of the people that you have social interaction with in work, once you retire, you're not going to hear from most of those people, if any at all. Okay, so that's one of the things that people lose, and they feel like a social disconnect. And then the other thing is identity crisis. And too many people, their identity is based on their work, on what they do for a living. I'm a carpenter, I'm a plumber, I'm a lawyer, I'm a police officer, I'm whatever. That's how they identify themselves. That's their identity. And when that's lost, when that's taken away, because you're no longer a police officer, you're no longer a plumber or a teacher or whatever it is that you do for a living, you're no longer those things. So that's become your identity. So a lot of people become depressed because they feel that they lost their identity. And then the other thing is financial concerns. A lot of people, they retire, and once they retire, they're worried and concerned, like, am I going to have enough to pay the bills next month, or a year from now, or 2 years from now? And they have concerns about that. Can I buy this? Can I afford this? And they have to budget differently if they're not actually, obviously they're not financially set really, really big. But those are one of the things that leads to depression. And then the last thing I want to talk about, and that leads to depression, is health issues. Okay, a lot of people retire because they have health issues, and so once they retire, they're more in tune, they're more cognitive, they're more in touch with their health issues, because they don't have other things to distract their attention and time. And so that's one of the things that they get concerned about, and it brings about depression. So those are the things that bring about depression once you retire. In my next video, what I want to do is what I feel that you can do to try and avoid some of these things. Hopefully all, but definitely some of these things, what you can do to avoid these and to not become depressed. And the reason I share this video, and I close with this, is that a family member of mine just passed away last Sunday. This person retired, I believe, last year, like me, maybe about the same time as I did last year. This person retired last year, but they had no hobbies to do. Their time wasn't filled. And when we visited this family member back in Easter, I noticed a change. I noticed a change in that person. And I said to my wife, that person's not the same. There's something wrong. There's something missing there. And she started noticing it too. So we started seeing that. And it got to the point where that person became so depressed. Then that person became sick and had some issues. And out of fear, didn't want to go get checked out, which you think somebody's retired, they have more time to go to the doctor. They didn't want to go get checked out. They didn't want to do this. And whatever the case, whatever needed to be done. And the whole family and everybody was, telling this person that you need to go and take care of yourself. You need to go and get yourself checked out. You need to, and even family members offered to come down and help, but this person said, no, don't come. I won't let you in. So, and that person kept saying things that like, I'm feeling better, or I went to the doctor, or I called telehealth, things like that kind of put us a little bit at ease. But it turns out that wasn't the case, and that person wound up passing away this past Sunday, last Sunday, a week ago. The person wound up passing away, and now the whole family's left struggling with too many questions, so many questions. And I said to somebody, I said, I liken this to suicide. It's almost a suicide, because this death could have been very preventable. And I believe in my heart of heart that the beginning of this was depression, because this person had been working at their job for over 40 years, and the depression set in. And so I'm going to address in the next video what I feel, in my opinion, things that we can do to try and minimize or remove all these things that I just touched on that can cause depression. So my prayer is that you would join me in the next video and share it with people who are either retired or planning on retiring, whether it be a year from now, 5 years from now, or 10 years from now, because this is something that doesn't have an expiration date. These are things that will happen could happen to almost everybody who retires at one point or another. So, with that, I'll let you guys go, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share this with whoever you want, whoever you think needs to hear it, and I'll post my other video tomorrow. God bless you, my friends.